aka Best Bail Bonds. Big game coverage live from Las Vegas. Powered by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, Synergenics, and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
2, 1. Hey, huddle up, everybody. We got something to talk about. It is the Morning Huddle. He's RJ Ochoa, the managing editor of Blogging the Boys. I'm Rob Thompson, lost and alone yet again, and we are joined by, as we promised, Matty Ice, Matt Ryan. Do I call you current CBS Sports play-by?
Yeah, I mean, call it whatever.
It's all. I don't know what to call you.
It's all good, analyst, former core, whatever.
You're never
just
a former.
Call me Matt. Yeah, easy.
I was told that you are a fan of the Red Helmets by Mike Smith. Is that true? But he said that this was like a passionate cause of yours.
The Falcons red helmets? Yeah. The throwbacks are awesome.
Right. Why wear anything else?
I'm a fan of old school uniforms, classics, right? And the Falcon throwback, to me, it's one of the best ones in the NFL. The red helmet, you got that black and white stripe with the gold outline on the back, Georgia Tech, University of Georgia.
Perfect.
It's just classy. Great uniform, great block number. I loved them.
I was telling you right before we started recording that everything you kind of touch in life is like an endeavor and a dream of mine. You have probably more Travis Matthew clothes than like most retail stores, it seems. You are, again, according to Mike Smith, a pretty good scratch golfer. I imagine you've probably been to Augusta once or twice. And now you get to talk about the NFL and causes that are passionate, of course, for you. Pretty good deal to be Matt Ryan.
Listen, I'm not complaining. I feel really lucky to, number one, to have played for as long as I did. You said it, the opportunity to play a little bit of golf every now and then, here and there. Have a great partner in Travis Matthew, who's been incredible. So, you know what, life is really good, and to me, it's about the people you do it with, right? And so whether it's working at CBS and the crew that I had, this year, spending some time with them or partners that I've had along the way, it's been a lot of fun.
He is Matty Ice joining us here on San Antonio Sports Star. As you face the next step in your life, and you obviously planned it for a while, did you see the being on camera or doing sports as something in your future? Because I quite frankly didn't think that was something you were going to do.
Yeah, no, I mean, you don't know, right? As a player, you think you're going to play forever. I mean, we're all delusional in that respect, but time is undefeated, and so eventually there's going to be this part where you move on, and I just felt like, the age I am, 38, is still young, right? And still want to do something, want to be getting up and working. I love watching film. It was a part of me as a player that I always enjoyed, the preparation part of it. I think you get that from calling the games. You've got to be prepared going into these games. So I think that is important. But it was just something I wanted to, see what it would be like and have fun. And I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. I traveled a lot, but I was home a lot, and I've got young kids, so you want to be around a little bit. It strikes a lot of the right balances for me in my life where I'm at right now.
CBS, obviously, you like old school uniforms, old school kind of broadcast, get to wear the blazer. I also think it's probably interesting you're arguably the greatest Falcon in franchise history, to reach a point where now what you say is so significant, right? Like you speak, and a lot of people are like, well, Matty I said, and that's got to be I don't want to call it the senior on campus, but it's a weird effect that, you probably felt that way when you were a rookie or whatever, coming up about, the older players and things like that. That's got to be a bit of a culture shock in a way.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird to be like the elder,
the old guy in the room,
the old one. Exactly. But it's a strange part as a player, right? You're a young player, and then all of a sudden the locker room changes, and overnight you're an older player, right? And so with the turnover of the team, and it happens quickly, but there is part of that comes with, playing for one organization for a long time, and then doing what I did. I called 2 Falcons games this year, right? And so having to talk about, what I see going on, those different things. Still got a lot of friends and good people in that organization, people that, you pull for personally. But part of the job is just, I always view the criticism portion of it, or the honesty portion of it, the same way I would, view reviewing my own game tape, right? Like, you look at it and you say, Matt, you got to play better than that. You've got to be able to make that throw. I know you can do that. So, that's part of what comes with it. It still is a little bit, weird to understand the weight that some of the words carry, but it's part of life.
I like the honesty and criticism, the way you put that, because sometimes honesty lends itself to criticism. That's absolutely necessary. And for guys like you that are going to the other side of the fence, that's one of the more difficult things to get to. But you've all been coached hard.
And that's my point, right? I think players probably are the least sensitive of all of this. You know, this is what you do. You go to work every day, and every rep of every practice is scrutinized. And you're told that's not good enough. Your feet have to be in this position. That's kind of the way we're wired. And so I view it very much the way I viewed it, you know, playing, right, is that there's an expectation to go out there and do it the right way. And when you see it not done correctly or you don't agree, that's okay. I don't think you need to be malicious. I think you just need to be, this is what I think should happen, you know?
There are two things I feel like you and your teams, your two respective teams, didn't get enough credit for. People talk about the Green Bay Packers going from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers now to Jordan Love. You came into really dire circumstances in Atlanta and had, again, maybe the greatest career that any Falcons ever had. That should be celebrated and talked about a lot. And similarly, I don't mean to bring up the Super Bowl, but it's so hard. People talk about every year for the team who loses the Super Bowl, in general, to reach the playoffs the next season. You guys not only reached the playoffs, you won a playoff game. You beat Sean McVay's Rams. The 2017, and you damn near beat the Eagles in the divisional round. You guys do not get, I don't know if that's props or kudos, but it deserves attention.
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud of that. You know, it is hard when you lose the Super Bowl to bounce back, because particularly the way that we lost it, the constant answering of questions and that creep into the locker room, is there a level of doubt? That team was tough, man, the year after. And it didn't all go perfectly, but we found a way to win games and get back into the playoffs. We went out and beat a Rams team that was nobody thought was any good, but they were trending into a team that was an absolute problem, and beat them out there, which was a great win. And then, fell a little bit short in Philly, but that Philly team had something cooking, and we took them right down to the wire. And I'm proud of it. Disappointed we didn't, obviously get the job done, but proud of the effort and the resiliency of that team.
Matt Ryan joining us here on San Antonio Sports Star. I know this is a broad question, but I like to ask athletes this. What's the best throw you ever made?
Best throw?
One came to your mind just now. What was it?
My favorite throw, I'll give you two. I think the best throw might have been the best catch I've ever seen, too, in the Super Bowl, was this throw on the sideline to Julio. I mean, there was, no place to put it. And I still don't know. I put it in this one spot, and I still don't know how he caught it and got his feet down. Unbelievable. And then one of my favorite throws of all time was my first pass in the NFL, 62-yard touchdown pass to Michael Jenkins on a skinny post on the backside. It's a pretty good way to start the career. Yeah, it was awesome.
You started that career out of Boston College, obviously. I know you're here on behalf of the 10-year anniversary of the Ice Bucket Challenge, dating back to your experience there. Can you please talk about that?
Yeah, I had a good friend at Boston College, Pete Frates, who was diagnosed with ALS and eventually passed away from that disease. But during that time was one of the integral parts of starting the Ice Bucket Challenge, which I can't believe it's been 10 years since that happened. And so, today I'm here because there's a lot of energy, and that thing was viral at the beginning, and there's a lot of attention and kind of momentum behind it at the beginning, but we want to keep that. There's still no cure for this disease. There's been strides made, but we still need to continue to move forward. And so excited to be here today to try and help, recreate some of that awareness, kind of put it in people's mind again, right? To help if they can, to continue to create funds, to develop research and to eventually find a cure. But it's personal to me, right? It's a buddy that you want to continue to go out there and speak on and speak on what he started. And so hopefully, eventually we can find a way to cure this disease.
ALS is truly one of the more devastating things that people can deal with.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's amazing it's been 10 years since that. When I remember the Ice Bucket Challenge, it was, do it, but you're going to have to donate.
Yes.
I mean, just because you dump some water on your head, you're standing, but that doesn't help. Dump some water on your head, some icy water, and donate to the ALS
Help if
Foundation.
you can,
yes.
right?
Whatever you can.
Whatever you can, if you can, that's ultimately what we're hoping for.
I know you've been asked about Raheem Morris a lot lately, and we would be really bad at this if we didn't
Absolutely.
if we didn't ask you. It was so strange because the Bill Belichick thing, I think, kind of clouded people's ability to judge whatever came after it.
Yeah.
But obviously, Raheem is highly respected, highly regarded, and everybody's talked about his first opportunity and the opportunity to be the interim head coach. Your thoughts on him and as the new head coach of the Falcons?
Yeah, I think, there was a hope or I don't know, there was some kind of belief that it was going to be Bill Belichick. I don't know if that's from Atlanta, but just kind of nationally, right? It just that story took off. You remove that and you look at the hiring of Raheem, I really like it. I think he's a great fit in that organization, knows the inner workings, which I think is important. I think he relates to players. I think he's grown as a coach. I competed against him during his times in Tampa, then worked with him for 6 years in Atlanta, saw him coach the defense, offense, back to the defense, then the interim head coach. So I've seen him in all of these different hats. Keep in touch with him while he's in LA. I think he grows in LA. One of the most important things, I think, of his time spent in LA is exposure to the coaching staff and being able to hire. You're only as good as the coaches that you can hire. And I think bringing in, some of those guys from LA is massive. I'm bullish. I think it's a roster that can win now. The roster reminds me a lot of 2008 when I got drafted there, where nobody's really talking about it, but there's good players. We had a good defense. We had a good wide receiver core, pretty good offensive line. We had all these things. And so it reminds me a lot of that time. And I think if you can get the quarterback position right, there's a chance for this team to be successful early. And I think he'll do a great job as the head coach.
Matt Ryan, right here on San Antonio Sports Star. Thanks for everything you did today, man. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me on.
What's the best round at Augusta? If you can speak on it. I know that they make you sign a blood oath or whatever.
No, I've been lucky enough to be over there before. I've played okay. I don't know exactly what I've shot.
You were content.
I was pleased. I was
He
pleased.
made his mark.
Yeah, I was pleased.
Well done.
Thanks, Matt. Matt Ryan right here on San Antonio Sports Star. We've got so much more for you. Don't go anywhere. You're on 94.1 San Antonio.
Best Bail Bonds. Big game coverage live from Las Vegas. Powered by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, Synergenics, and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.